What is up, Dynasty Leaguers? Welcome back into another DLF YouTube channel video. It's Tuesday. It's mock draft day, so we're continuing to roll with these mock drafts from real leagues, real rosters, real draft picks from you guys down in the comment section. So we're continuing to do that today. This one comes in from a comment and a viewer down below from Jesus. So Jesus, thank you so much for offering up your draft picks and your roster for us to go through and mock as if we were you today. So this one is for you. We're going to go through all this. It should be really fun because we got 4 first-round picks that we need to go through and talk about and discuss with this one quarterback team. So let's get into the video. So like I said at the top, this one comes to us from Jesus down in the comment section. So thank you so much, Jesus, for giving us your team and your rosters and your draft picks. So we can dive into this and look at this in terms of what he has going for him on his roster, what type of league and format that he's got going on, because it is going to be pretty interesting because like I said, we do have 4 first-round picks that we need to discuss and work through. So this is a 12-team, 1 quarterback, half PPR league, where you start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and then a defense. Rest in peace for this Dynasty league that is still starting a defense, but I'm with you. I still got one as well in my home league, so it's all right. I definitely understand the troubles that can cause. But anyway, moving past that, we're looking at his roster. He's got Daniel Jones and Ryan Fitzpatrick at the quarterback position, 1 QB league, so it's all right. Could be better, but it is a 1 QB league, so we're looking okay there. Running backs, he's got Saquon Barkley, Antonio Gibson, Mike Davis, and then he notes a few other handcuffs and backups as well. Wide receivers, he's got Chris Godwin, Deebo Samuel, Chase Claypool, Laviska Shenault, T.Y. Hilton, Van Jefferson. And then at tight end, Logan Thomas, Mike Gesicki, and Harrison Bryant. So we can take a look now after we've got a quick overview of his roster and his league and format. These are the draft picks that we are working with today. 4 first-round picks, and then the 3.01 is sitting down there as well. So this one's going to be really, really fun, I think, and is going to be really interesting to kind of plan out and see what's going to happen and go on through not only just the 101, but he's got 3 picks right there in the middle towards the end in the 106, the 107, and the 1.09. So let's get into this here because we do have the 1.01 pick. This is a 1 quarterback league, so it's not as easy. It's not just as easy as clicking Trevor Lawrence and being done, because we have legitimate decisions here between Jamar Chase, Najee Harris, and I think now Kyle Pitts. And I'm really glad that I recorded this video a little bit later now that we have the Julio Jones trade news, and I didn't record this pre-Julio Jones because as of right now, my 1.01 in 1 quarterback leagues, I'm jumping on the hype train. I'm here for it. I've been against it. I've even adamantly opposed it in drafting Kyle Pitts as high as he has been going. But I'm jumping on that train and I'm here for it. And not just as a trade piece is what I've recommended and advised earlier in previous rookie drafts as well. I'm here for it because I sincerely think that Kyle Pitts is going to be really, really good. Like I really do. Because he is now in a position where he can succeed with the Atlanta Falcons as more of an outside wide receiver and not so much an inline tight end or a slot tight end or like a big body like a Mike Gesicki kind of guy who, funny enough, he has Mike Gesicki on his roster. I truly think Kyle Pitts is going to be the other outside wide receiver on this Atlanta Falcons team and line up like what Jimmy Graham did for the New Orleans Saints or Rob Gronkowski or other outside big body wide receiver tight ends, like even like a Darren Waller, where he's not lining up, in the slot as much. He's out wide and he's trying to beat these cornerbacks because he's a huge size speed mismatch. And if that's really what the Atlanta Falcons utilize him as, and what I truly think that he can be, he's going to be fantastic. I mean, I truly think that he could be the most productive rookie pass catcher from this 2021 class, if not at least up there with Jamar Chase, who I think also has really good opportunities to succeed. So my 1.01 in terms of both production, but also trade value. Maybe you don't necessarily believe in him, but the trade value is there that you have on his team. He's already going as a 3rd or 4th round pick in 1 quarterback startup leagues. I expect that to rise because that was from May. So I expect that to rise potentially even a whole round. He's probably going to be the tight end 1 overall in Dynasty ahead of Travis Kelce and George Kittle. He's already ahead of Waller. So I expect him to be the tight end 1 probably before the season even starts. because this hype train is going to get rolling, especially as we get into training camp. We see some highlight videos of him making insane catches in training camp from Matt Ryan across from Calvin Ridley. This is going to be, an insane hype train season, and I'm on board with it, and I want him on my roster, so I'm going to take him with the 1.01 here. And I like it too because he adds to a tight end room that has a lot of question marks in terms of Logan Thomas and Mike Gesicki here for you, Jesus. Logan Thomas was great. He was great last year. A lot of that was very much volume driven. They added Curtis Samuel. They're looking to see what they could possibly do with JD McKissick still out of the backfield. Maybe Antonio Gibson grows as a running back, as a pass catching running back like he was at Memphis, but wasn't really utilized like that last year. We have new question marks in terms of what does Ryan Fitzpatrick do? Who does he like? We know that he really likes to key in on his top guys. Is that Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas? Is that Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel? We have question marks there with Logan Thomas in his production. Even though I still really like him and believe in him as well, he's not going to be what Kyle Pitts is going to be. Definitely not when you compare their ceilings as well. This is Kyle Pitts for sure. And then also, Mike Gesicki has some question marks as well from the Miami Dolphins. And basically, if you want to make the argument in terms of what you're missing in terms of opportunity cost here for taking Kyle Pitts, you're missing out on Najee Harris and Jamar Chase. I understand that for sure. That's really, really hard. I think the argument for passing on Najee Harris is a lot easier because you have Saquon Barkley and Antonio Gibson and Mike Davis, who's at least a really good option for 2021. So that gives you right there your two starting running backs in your roster and your flex play as well, probably on most weeks in terms of, Saquon, Gibson, and Mike Davis. So passing on Najee Harris is pretty good there. My other, thinking point in terms of passing on Najee is I would hope potentially you could, it's probably not going to work and it didn't work here, but you could hope that you get one of Travis Etienne or Javonte Williams back to you at the 1.06. Like I said, it didn't really work here, but that could definitely be an option for you. And if you can maybe try to trade up to the 5 or the 4 or something like that to get into those running back positions, you could absolutely add one of these other rookie running backs in this class and add to that depth chart as well to help solidify yourself down the road. But you have next year as well. Rookie running backs get really easy to come by and buy some easy, cheap production, in the first rounds of basically any rookie draft. So you could absolutely wait till next year to address that position, especially because you might not have Mike Davis next year, just depending on how the Atlanta Falcons address that. But as of right now, I'm confident in passing on Najee Harris at the 1.01. Jamar Chase is a little bit harder because the wide receiver group that you have is a little bit shallower, in my opinion, especially in a start 3 wide receiver league. Obviously, you have Chris Godwin. That's great. That's fantastic. Claypool has a lot of upside and potential. Not really going to help you all too much in 2021, I think, just because Juju re-signed and Deontay's still there. I think he's going to be the wide receiver 3 on that team in terms of production, but that could absolutely change next year when Juju leaves. And then you also have a handful of other, questionables, or, what are they really in terms of Deebo Samuel, Laviska Shenault. T.Y. Hilton could be fine, and he could be a really good 2021 play with Carson Wentz just chucking it and throwing it deep. So that could work for T.Y. Hilton. But, the wide receiver room in your roster that you have, to me, doesn't necessarily scream a whole lot of confidence, especially in a start 3 wide receiver format. I'd be a lot more comfortable in a start 2 wide receiver format. So, but then again, we have the 6, we have the 7, and the 9 here. So my hope is that you could potentially get a running back here at the 6. If not, maybe you could trade up to the 4 or the 5, like I said, to get a running back and solidify that. If not, these next couple picks, 6, 7, and 9, are all probably just going to be wide receivers. So that's why I was comfortable moving away from Jamar Chase, because you're getting wide receivers here down at the end of the first round, mid to end of the first round. So you can go with whoever you really want here in terms of all these other guys, because we have our choice after Jamar Chase. And so I think my first option, it's just Rashod Bateman. That's just for me personally. He's my wide receiver 2. You could go for some upside, go with DeVonta Smith, go with Jaylen Waddle. I think DeVonta Smith has a lot of potential in terms of year 1 and moving forward, because he's a really, really good outside wide receiver. It's just question marks in terms of what does Jalen Hurts provide? Is he actually a good quarterback or not? How does that really work out? So you can go any which way with all these. The only other thing I want to mention for this set of 3 picks here is, do you take Trevor Lawrence? I think that's a really big question, and a really good question to have, because your other quarterbacks are Daniel Jones and Ryan Fitzpatrick. So for me, I would definitely have Trevor Lawrence in this discussion to be able to just, say, yeah, I'm done. Take Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be my starter. We'll see what Daniel Jones is. We'll plug and play Ryan Fitzpatrick when or if we need him to on buys or injuries and stuff. And maybe try and see if we can project the big Ryan Fitzpatrick like 30-point game that he usually can come up with a few times a year. But having Trevor Lawrence definitely solidifies that quarterback room for you, and you can definitely go that route. The other thing only thing that I want to mention against that is you could take 3 shots on wide receivers here and be really, really good at wide receiver. And then try to see what you have coming back to you with 3.01. That's what we got going on here for this mock draft. And I'm actually going to do that here. I'm going to pass on Trevor Lawrence because I think I could help show maybe what happens if you go for 3 wide receivers here and pass on a quarterback and see if a quarterback comes back to you at 3.01. Because I expect 1, if not 2, potentially will come back to you. So we'll just kind of see how that goes. And this is all just, kind of just for play and that's why you do mock drafts, right? You just try to see what you could potentially get. So for the sake of this, I'm going to take 3 wide receivers here between all these. But you could absolutely take Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, definitely, if that's what you want to do and you feel most comfortable with Trevor Lawrence, absolutely do that for sure. So I'm just going to go down the list. I'm going to take Rashod Bateman. I'm going to take, I would have taken DeVonta Smith there. I don't know what happened there, but I would have taken DeVonta Smith there. So I messed up and did my own thing. But just pretend that this is DeVonta Smith. And then at 1.09, I'm taking Jaylen Waddle. So we'll see what comes back to us. That's so funny that I misclicked that and I said I was going to pass on Trevor Lawrence, and then I accidentally didn't. So we'll see here. So the other quarterbacks all went. So we're back up here at the 3.01, and as I expected, Mac Jones is there. So you could absolutely grab Mac Jones at the 3.01, in my opinion, and I think has a very good opportunity to start week 1 for the New England Patriots. A lot of fantastic stuff is coming out of him just from camp and everything, and showing that he's already, kind of better than Cam Newton, which doesn't really surprise me all that much, but he's making smarter plays, smarter throws, and doing all that stuff over Cam Newton already in just the short time that they've had in mini camps and stuff with the New England Patriots. So, and I also believe that Mac Jones is actually a good quarterback. So, I'm all about that. But you could also make the argument that if you wait for Mac Jones, you're not getting a massive ceiling, right? With Mac Jones, you're getting maybe Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan. The ceiling's not really there for you outside of if he has like a really, really good, awesome touchdown season, maybe like a 35 kind of touchdown, like what Justin Herbert did last year, right? That is really the ultimate upside for Mac Jones, but he's probably not going to hit that a whole lot, maybe 1 or 2 seasons out of his entire career. Trevor Lawrence could do that almost annually. So there's definitely that argument to be made in terms of why you would take Trevor Lawrence at the 1.07 or 1.06 than waiting on Mac Jones down to 3.01. So here, if you want to pretend that we took DeVonta Smith at the 7, we could take Mac Jones. If you want to leave it as where we're at right now with Rashod Bateman, Trevor Lawrence, and Jaylen Waddle, we can go for somebody else and maybe look at the running back position or another wide receiver or something like that. Here, I would probably go with Rhamondre Stevenson if you're taking Trevor Lawrence. If not, and you did go the 3 wide receiver route, then the pick is Mac Jones. But I'm just going to stick with it. I'm just going to stick with what I collected. It's a misclick or whatever. Hopefully you understand. But we have a couple different scenarios and pathways for you to go down this road. So Rhamondre Stevenson there if you take Trevor Lawrence. If you don't take Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones there. I think is a pretty easy summation. So that is at least the rookie draft there. Like I said, we have 4 first-round picks and then that 3.01 to really add to this team and add to, not only the depth, but the potential upside to this one quarterback roster, because it's already looking pretty good with Saquon, Antonio Gibson, Chris Godwin, and then we can add Kyle Pitts to it. We can add, a couple wide receivers like Rashod Bateman or DeVonta Smith and Jaylen Waddle. We can add Trevor Lawrence to it, and you can potentially add, a really good running back at the end of it like Rhamondre Stevenson. So I'm definitely all about the draft picks that you have, the roster that you've already, acquired and accumulated over the past couple of years. And now you just continue to keep adding to it with those 4 first-round picks in this year's class. So I really, really like that. I really, really like what we were able to do and add for you. So Jesus, I hope this was helpful for you. and good luck in your draft. I know you said that it was an in-person draft. That is super fun, and I'm very excited for you just in that prospect alone. But then you also have 4 first-round picks, which should be really, really fun and enjoyable for you. So good luck. Let me know how that eventually plays out, if you do go the Trevor Lawrence route or not, if you do go Kyle Pitts or not. I think there are definitely arguments for and against, a couple of my picks, but ultimately I think that is what I would do if I was in your situation and in your shoes with your draft picks and with your roster. So to everybody else, thank you all so much for watching, for tuning in. Like I said, I've been really enjoying this series and going through actual people's rosters and teams. We're going to continue to do this. I think I'm dropping another one this week and then a couple more next week as we move through, because I know we have some more June ones and in July as well. So I'm definitely hitting on all of those, the ones that I have written down, at least on my notepad. So and then if you input your roster and stuff down in the comment section now, I'm probably not going to make a video on it, but I will definitely be looking to, give you advice and stuff on it in terms of what I would be looking at and the players that I would be looking at for your teams and at your draft picks, right? So if you just send me your team and your draft picks and you say I have the 1.03, the 2.03, and the 3.07, and I could be like, yeah, I'm looking for this player at the 1.03, this player at the 2.03, and then see what you got coming back to you in the 3rd round as a dart throw. That's probably what I'm going to do moving forward, because I want to start getting into startup mock drafts. I think that could be really, really fun as well. Actually going into, here and doing Superflex and startup Dynasty mock drafts, which could be really, really fun. Look at some different strategies. Maybe we find some different draft picks or situations, depending on where you are in the actual snake draft, could, lead to more strategic strategies and team builds. Just in terms of where you actually end up landing without having any trades, obviously. But I want to eventually get into doing that. So that's at least my plan moving forward with these mock drafts. So thank you all so much for watching, for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below, subscribe, do all that awesome things, because we're very, very close to 3,000 subscribers. And all that stuff definitely helps us grow and get closer and hopefully surpass that mark as we move throughout the rest of the summer. So thank you all so much for watching. We'll catch you all later.